Wake the farm up.
That's the magic of it, you know. You could kind of mix and match, being very routine and very like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, versus very free flow, kind of just feeling the music and letting your body do what it does. Like, what makes it so magical? It's like, yeah, it's the music, but it's also all of the aspects. It's the flow artists, it's the vendors, it's the live painters, it's everyone working so hard to, like, you know, create this experience. It's the farmers.
Make the farm up!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the JayJay Juarez Fire Dance episode. Recorded December 2023. Wake the Farm Up, Maintaining Ground podcast.
So say something incriminating about yourself, and we will disguise it.
Something incriminating about myself?
Yeah, I'll tell you something incriminating about myself.
What's that?
So whenever I see somebody like dumping out an old gas tank just like on the grass or something, I walk over and I make them get down on the ground and lick it.
I think you cut you off. That's crazy.
Go ahead.
I know who stole a Cincinnati police bicycle, but I ain't no snitch. The snitches wind up in ditches with stitches.
Is that where you got your bicycle?
Yeah, I ain't no snitch.
Alright, we get Dr. Mushroom, how you doing? Very mushroomy.
We're getting our ship landing. Our ship preparing for takeoff. Shields are up. Now lads, is there a relationship between mushrooms and the people, the humans of this planet, or are they separate?
Well, as you know, you can't believe everything you see and hear. Now can you? If you'll excuse me, I must.
Okay. Here we go. Let's get special thanks to Dr. Mushroom and the Mushroom Elves, the Mushroom Bois, the Bass Elves, the Editing Elves. We appreciate your support. Can you help take care of us? Thank you. We are here for you.
So our episodes are sponsored by sponsors who can't normally sponsor anything, so we try to pick them out to sponsor things. And today we're going to this show's being sponsored by one of my favorite plants. It's an herb. It grows in Colorado. Can you guess what it is? Ha ha ha. Maybe, but if you're a fire dancer or somebody that dances a lot, you know what it's like when your legs or your arms get sore from working out. It's nice to have some Arnica around, right? Yeah, so here's one for the plants out in Colorado. The species of Arnica out there is special. You know, keep an eye on it, make sure it's growing, and it's got environments to keep growing in. So here's a little elf piece cut for you all on the ecological humanity. The basis of this podcast, Wake the Farm Up, Maintaining Ground. Ecological humanity. Block the projectors of the narrative. Going in, going out. Be present and more observant. Aware and adaptive. Be A present. Be A observed. The past is the past and we're discussing. How have we grown to this moment? Helping each other to remember, to feel, and what? The story time, true. And truly from the infinity of dreams. Project that respectfully, mindfully in the story of life. Allow others to project into the story too. Come on. With wildness and the creature instinct, yet with the honor, dignity, and compassion of ecological humanity.
The future will come, and it is not your plans.
Peace is not a weapon. If you want to make peace and fight to defend it. If you want your land, make peace on your land and fight to defend it. If you love your family and fight to defend it. Don't use your family as a weapon to fight. Don't use your land as a weapon to fight. Come on, don't use peace as a weapon to fight. Peace is not the weapon.
Alright, here we go. Wake the farm up. How's it going, everybody? This is exciting. Today we got fire dancer JayJay, Dragon Style. Come in, wake the farm up. You know why we like dancing. Let me give you a round of applause, JayJay.
Hello. How you doing?
We're good. So where are you at today? You were in Colorado, is that right?
Yes, sir. I am in Denver, Colorado.
Nice. And it gets cold there, so it probably motivates you to get into one of these topics where I know we're gonna get jamming in, fire dancing. Tell me some of the other names you have for it too, but I know it's something that burning that and dancing out there in cold Colorado in the winter time probably feels good.
Oh yeah, definitely gotta find ways to stay warm. But yeah, fire spinning, burning, spinning, fire dancing, prop manipulation, fire manipulation, whatever rolls off the tongue easiest for you.
Yeah. So how did you? I'll give a little background, with this show, Maintaining Ground. So JayJay and I met. I was actually crawling out from underneath of a stage. I was fixing a hazer machine. We were just so amazed that this dude just popped out from underneath it. So we were just cracking up and talking for a minute and got connected. And I got to enjoy watching some of your performances. And you're amazing. And you can tell it's like a passion. I definitely can feel that authentic passion for what you do. So I'd love to hear about how that got started for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a great moment meeting you. Yeah. All the performers just kind of looked over their shoulders and were like, did someone just come from under the stage?
There's an elf under there.
Exactly. Well, first of all, thank you so much for building us such a beautiful, beautiful stage that we were able to kind of help kind of bring to life and bring more eyes to. I think, the fire dancing and the stage essence really kind of, it was a cool project to see kind of all come together as a whole and really see people enjoy it. So thank you for creating something super beautiful. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but if not, definitely check it out because this thing is crazy. Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of how I got started with fire spinning, sorry, let me just close the window here real quick.
Yeah, some fire spinning up on you.
Yeah, some leaf blowing. But yeah, so it really started as a pandemic hobby. When the world was shutting down, I wasn't doing much with myself. I was in school at the time, but we had gone all online. I wasn't working because I was working part-time in the service industry. And so I was just doing a whole lot of nothing. And I really needed something to, keep myself occupied with. I could kind of just see my my mentality, take a deep dive. Same thing with my physical health, and I just knew that I needed a change. I needed something, and I'm not a real big fan of just kind of like working out and just doing your basic, calisthenic home body workouts. I could get into it sometimes, but I get bored easily with those kinds of things. So it's like I need something that's going to be stimulating my mind as well as my body. And I had been exposed to flow arts and prop manipulation a couple months prior, and I had been really into going to festivals. And I think my first festival was 2016.
Whoa.
And I just fell in love with just the movement of it all. And it's a distant thing that I would always appreciate, but I would never really do myself. But a pandemic came along, and I was like, all right, let's give something a try. And there's this one festival I went to, Gem and Jam in Arizona.
Where
My
was it?
neighbor. Gem and Jam.
Jim and Jim?
Gem and Jam, yeah.
Jim and Jam, nice.
In Arizona. This was before the pandemic, and I remember our neighbor had this really long stick with 4 spokes on each end of the stick, and I was so just like, what the heck is that? Like, I've never seen anything like that. It kind of looks like a coat rack.
Yeah. And they're dancing with it.
Yeah. They're spinning it around and stuff like that, and I was just like, I was weirded out, initially. I was like, why is this person dancing with a coat rack? But eventually, I got closer and closer, so I could kind of,
you were trying to hang your coat on it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, can you hold my things while I do this real quick? But yeah, I got closer and closer, and eventually asked what it was. It was called a dragon staff, and I asked if they could teach me like a move or two, like very elementary, and they did. And I just remember how it felt rolling down my arms. It was just a very like smooth surface, almost like a massage down my arms, and like kind of just feeling it with my fingertips. It was just a very satisfying, like satiating feeling. And so, fast forward a couple months later, pandemic hits, and I'm like, dang, I'm just gonna order this dragon staff off Etsy, and if it works out, it works out. If not, then whatever, we tried.
Yeah.
So at that time, me and about 5 other people, we were going to the Boulder Creek just about every single day. We didn't have much else to do other than stay inside. So we're like, let's go hang out by the creek and just, see what's up. Yeah. And then that was just kind of our hangout spot for that entire summer, really.
Nice.
And, it was beautiful. And so, like I said, I wasn't in school, I wasn't taking classes, everything online, had like stopped at that point. And so I would bring this dragon staff out and try to learn moves just about every single day that we were out there. And it got to the point where I saw other people with other random cool stick things in their hands, kind of like flowing down the Boulder Creek. And every time I saw somebody, I was like, hey, you look like you know what you're doing. Can you want to teach me a move real quick?
Yeah.
And I learned a majority of my move just kind of by random passerbyers on the Boulder Creek, and it's just kind of like very elementary stuff, chi rolls, split time chi rolls. Those are kind of like the most basic move that you can do with dragon staff. But from there,
split time T rolls?
Chi rolls. So
chi.
Yeah.
Okay, CHI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like chi rolls, split time chi rolls. Those are kind of like the most like kind of essential foundations, I want to say, for dragon staff and kind of like your learning process. And from there, it just kind of took off. I was obsessed with it. I was doing it when I was outside, when I was in my apartment, trying to avoid hitting my TV and all my art in my house, in my apartment. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started. And then once I, got really into it, I didn't really see fire as a goal, But I eventually kind of was like, oh wow, there's a whole community of not only prop manipulators but fire spinners, and some of them are dragon staff spinners, and there's a whole community on Instagram and online, and a whole community in Denver. You know, there's Cheeseman flows every Sunday. There's open fire jams at the Circus Collective every Monday.
That's cool.
And
there's a Circus Collective in Denver.
Yeah. This collective, they do open gyms and privates of all different kinds of, you know, acrobatic apparatuses like lyra, silks, and straps and stuff like that. And then after all their classes on Monday nights, they'll have open fire jams where we could kind of light up, and you know, it's like 3 to 4 people spinning at a time, and everybody has a safety, and everyone's just enjoying themselves, enjoying the show.
That's cool. So how is that, like, when you get involved in that, like, as you develop, having like a safety person, or developing even like these collectives, like how you create like an ambiance of it's not necessarily, I guess there's fire rules, you know, just to be, you know, direct, like you're creating rules, you know, like we're gonna have a safety person for each person, and that's like, you know, how you do it. How did that kind of, is that something that's just naturally developed?
Yeah, so I mean, you know, fire can be super scary. You know, I was deadly afraid of it, of even getting close to it before I started spinning fire, and so that was kind of, in the process of that, me overcoming a big fear of mine, being comfortable with fire manipulation. But there's definitely, it's been around for a very long time, right? And fire spinning, and so there definitely is
ancient.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, there's always a risk of something going wrong during a performance or during one of your sessions when you are spinning fire. So there definitely is a big culture of safety around fire spinning, especially at festivals and more organized kind of events. Even at these fire jams, you know, we have fire resistant blankets. They're treated with fire resistant spray, as well as made with natural fibers, so they're not going to melt on you. If they do get too hot and they end up burning, it's going to turn into ash. But yeah, there's a lot of different protocols. There's a lot of different safety certifications that you can get to be most informed and most equipped to kind of help somebody out who's fire spinning, who needs a safety, or vice versa, you know, somebody that you want to teach about safety that can be there for you if anything does go wrong, just because there is always a risk of, you know, fuel getting on you and your skin catching fire, or, you know, if you're not wearing fire safe clothing, if you're wearing synthetic fibers, you know, and those fibers catch on fire instead of turning to ash, like those natural fibers, they'll melt to your skin and you'll get some pretty gnarly burns, some infections. So it's a super dangerous thing, and yeah, there definitely is a culture of safety that should be upheld, isn't always upheld, but, you know, wherever I go, I try to make sure that, you know, certain precautions are taken to make sure that we can be as safe as possible whenever we're doing our thing.
Yeah. So yeah, with the circus thing, I know my little bit of background in that realm. It was probably like 2005, maybe. I was in a circus in Taos, New Mexico, called the Electric Blue Monkey Circus, and I mostly was a jaguar that danced around fire dancers, kind of like a safety person, but in a jaguar outfit. That was a lot of fun.
Amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think of that time as, yeah, it was very ethereal time, lots of dancing, and just, yeah, dancing's a big part of my life. Like you were mentioning, it's probably my main way of keeping movement that's regular through the different seasons. I do more walking, hiking, and all the different things, but dancing's like always a regular thing, and I love how it connects mind and body. It's not just like a repetitious counting thing or something.
Yeah, and it can be if you want it to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the magic of it, you know. You could kind of mix and match being very routine and very like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 versus very free flow, kind of just feeling the music and letting your body do what it does.
Yeah. So you've really gotten into the flow. It seems that just in a few years, you're performing with groups that are moving around in these, you know, pretty high attended festivals that people want to get into. I mean, a lot of people are just coming to dance too, but they're like having you come in with troops to dance and do these performances, which are just absolutely amazing. I've seen some, I don't know, just like, so what is that like working with groups of these amazing performers? You're around this like atmosphere that's, for me, like Halloween's artists throwing in 120%, right? It's like people come there like, yeah, this is the thing. I want to put it all in, and then afterwards you're just inspired. Before you're inspired, it's a great mesh of art and community. Tell me about how that's been for you. You blasted up in there.
Yeah, it's a surreal experience. It really is. In so many different aspects, you know, it's really great in a lot of ways. In some ways, you know, I could get in my head sometimes of, you know, me being a newer kind of addition to the flow arts community. I only started, you know, like 2-3 years ago, whereas I know people have been doing this for a very long time, and there are, you know, vetted festival performers and vetted fire performers, and this is my first year I've done festivals, and I told myself last year that I was going to do as many festival performances as I possibly could, and I really accomplished that goal. You know, I did Soulfest, Summer Camp, Sonic Blue. I did one in Mexico called Utopia, Psytrance one in Costa Rica. So I've really been getting after it this year, and super proud of myself. But yeah, overall, it's just
proud of you. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just watching your dances, like, I don't know, like you can see in your face you're feeling the whole thing. Even your facial emotions and expressions are dancing. I don't always see that with dancers. I would have thought you would have been dancing much longer. I imagine you have, but you know, you got more serious in the last couple of years, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but overall, it's been amazing. It's been like all the performers that, you know, I'm up there with. They're super nice, and just, like you said, just all around inspiring. You see them not only like manipulate their props, but dance with their props and dance with the crowd and react to that crowd. And not only are they just kind of like a big thing that was talked about in our performance camp. Not only are they, you know, performing, you know, they're an artist, they're a performing artist, and there's a difference kind of between an artist and a performer, and then a performing artist, you know. The artist being super, you know, when it comes to, let's say, double staves or dragon staves, super into the tech of it all, you know. They'll not move their bodies, not go into the splits, not do any sort of acrobatics or flair outside of the skills of that prop. And they'll only do like tech, they'll make shapes, and, you know, and that's really cool, and it can be really appreciated. But to a crowd, you know, that's never picked up a prop before, has tried out these, like, you know, hula hoop, poi, whatever it is, it's not gonna be as like cool, you know. So you kind of got to learn to cater to those crowds that are coming to see these performances, in that you have to mix and balance your art with your performance, right? It's not just about you dancing, it's about you reading what the crowd likes. If they like you going into the splits and you tossing your thing up as high as you can in the air, that may not be the hardest thing for you to do, or the most technical thing that you've learned, or the most advanced move. But, you know, you put some flair on it, and you involve those more technical and advanced moves that the crowd may not appreciate, you know, that's when you've kind of met in the middle of performance and art, and are now doing performance art. And that's been a big lesson for me in doing all of these festivals. You know, I feel like I was more of an artist at first, and since doing these first ones this year all the way up to Halloween, this last one that I did, Yeah, I definitely am trying to continue to learn to incorporate both aspects when it comes to me performing out there.
Wow, that's a lot of information to take in, Dr. Mushroom, about our relationship with our bodies and mushrooms and sounds and intergalactic frequencies. It's a lot to share with us aliens on what it's like in our planet and your relationship between mushrooms and the humans here.
Mushrooms came from outer space, and
They don't speak English.
they speak Pascal.
So, is there a way to put them through a translator? Kind of like what we're using to communicate with birds?
A shaman.
Nice. So what other kinds of things do you get into outside of dance? Like, so when you're, trying to, you're dancing a lot, like you're dancing at so many festivals and performing and bringing this performing artist aspect to so many places. Like, what is, like, do you find yourself in different spaces, like you need to like go and retreat and be away from less people, or are you just like ready for more?
Definitely. I mean, each festival for sure takes a toll,
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of just, you're really putting everything you can into every single one of these performances, so it's physically exhausting. So yeah, definitely could use some Zen time alone, and performing in front of, whether it's 5 people, 50 people, 100,000 of people, it's regardless of how many people it is, it's just so much more different than you just flowing alone in like
down by the Boulder Creek or something,
or by the Boulder Creek. It's just hits different just knowing that you're in your flow because of you. Like you're the reason that you're doing this. It's for your peace of mind. It's for your Zen. It's so you can just kind of chill out and focus on that and that only, and really try to achieve that flow state of mind.
I like that. So when you are as a performing artist and engaging with the community of people around, like in that way that you described, what are some of the feels, or what's the energy? How can you describe the energy that you're trying to give and share to them? Like, what are you trying to invoke in front of us as we're enchanted by... You're doing splits, JayJay?
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is always amazing when somebody does splits. They could be doing whatever with a prop, but I'm just like, whoa.
I mean, thank you first. Yeah, I feel like when I'm with other performers, it's always like a skill trade-off, It's like, I saw you do something really cool on stage, and I really want to incorporate that in my performance. Can you teach me how to do that? So it's really like just like a hodgepodge, like brainstorm, everybody just throwing their skills out there and really absorbing as much kind of information and styles of flow that they can, so they can kind of incorporate in their own. So I really love that part of these festivals and kind of like interacting with people. But when it comes to the kind of like more, hey, I'm performing, whether myself or I have performers on the sides of me, for a crowd, I guess the emotion that I'm trying to invoke is just that, movement. It brings about beautiful things, and there's just so many different art forms that I feel like people don't really, I don't want to say forget about, but it's not really on their radar a lot of their times. And then they get to these festivals and, there's all these different kinds of art, and I feel like fire spinning is a really unique one. Just because it's, you don't see fire spinning every weekend when you're out at the bars or doing whatever you're doing in your town or for your spare time. Right. So I feel like it's it's whenever I am performing, I am really trying to kind of get the point across to the crowd that, you know, like movement is a magical thing and that's done so many amazing things for me, you know, and it's not only something that can be self-rewarding, but can be rewarding for so many people around you. You know, like I'm not only doing this for myself, but I'm doing this to perform for you and give you a show and really show that the magic of this whatever festival I'm at or whatever, you know, setting that I'm in, the magic can be elevated that much more by a different piece of art kind of complementing another piece of art. And, you know, in the case of Halloween, you know, you had your beautiful, amazing piece of art of a stage, and it was an honor to be able to fire spin in front of it, like I said earlier, just because I feel like there was such a kind of like harmonious balance going on with the two, you know, the energy of your stage and the lake with the running water, you know, and the light show and the fire spinners, and then you had the music and all the millions of other things going on in the festival, you know.
So much, yeah.
But yeah.
Magical little lily pads there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think some of the things for me as a adorer of fire dancing for years now, of course, I've gotten my hands on it and played with it a little bit, but I've not, like, again, you know, been super excited about it in a way that I've invested in all the safe equipment and clothing and all that and lined it up and had it in a box ready to go and be like, I'm ready.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Watching it is so enchanting. Like all the LED lights at the festival and all the special lasers and stuff that we have now are really cool. Don't get me wrong at all here. I love so many things, but just specifically like fire, it's ancient. Like we mentioned that earlier, and there's just something that's timeless about watching fire dancing. There's this movement, like the clothing that is usually selected by fire dancers is fairly timeless because it's like leather or some kind of canvas that's fireproof, as you mentioned, you know, and some fire, you know, like isn't flammable, and there's a, you know, just an essence to it that's very invoking of even other worlds, you know, ancient other worlds, like on the Yggdrasil tree where the elves live, Alfheim or something like that. And it's, you know, it's fascinating. It really invokes a lot of in the imagination. LED lights, they do that too in like a more future-y kind of way, or like, wow, that's a cool, you know, that's making tracers and I didn't even eat anything.
Yeah, exactly. I feel you. LEDs, you know, like you said, I'm all about them and they're super cool. But like you said, a lot of the times the LEDs almost do the work for you when they have like a certain like images being rendered and right. The tracing of the path. And yeah, there's something super primal and just like you said, ancient about fire that I feel like really draws people to not only spinning fire, but also just watching it and appreciating it. And yeah, it's in a world with nonstop advancing technologies, you know, we've had fire for a very, very long time, and to be able to kind of tap into those kind of primal roots when manipulating it and just really paying attention to it and almost praising it in a way. Yeah, it creates something super special.
I love that. Yeah. The fire, it's ancient, been with us for so long, it's inside of us. It's what makes us dance. It dances itself. It's so curling around, and photography with fire dancers is even actually such another realm that, like, I've seen some of your amazing pictures, and you can imagine being an adorer of fire dancers, that I've seen some amazing photography come out of spinning fire and like the different shapes and angels and forms that come and show up around people. I can see how you can adore it and probably feel and see those things even while you're just dancing through with it around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of these times in these pictures it's in such incredible detail, especially you know, our photographer that we had at Halloween, his name is he goes by Weavus on Instagram, but I think his name is Steve or Steven.
Cool, I like Weavus.
He's just amazing at capturing fire, and when you're performing, you know, you're obviously getting a very different perspective than what the crowd is looking at, right? You're the one making these shapes and making these kind of patterns to put on a show, and it looks a lot different than what your photographer sees or what your crowd sees. And so when I see these pictures, I'm really just like, I feel like a freaking superhero, wizard, like warlock person. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. You do look like one of those, exactly. And I don't know, I'm just an elf here to encourage you, embodying that feeling and enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you for doing that, man.
Yeah. Aside from fire, I love the concept. I hadn't heard that term, I guess, prop manipulation in the flow arts. I probably have heard it, but you know, I'm learning things all the time, and it clicked here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, what other elements perhaps have you found enjoyable to dance with? What the actual farm?
So like, what other element?
So like, what other elements perhaps have you found enjoyable to dance with? I say elements, like, I don't know, is elements. What other kind of forms of things would you dance with? Like water, how could you dance with water? Yeah, it's fun to dance in water. Elements.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's fun to dance in water, you know, whether that's splashing around in the parking lot when it's raining, or you know, you could even be flowing in water, you know. Like, I was in Costa Rica for a couple months this year, and I was on the beach every single day just flowing. That's what I went there for, and I was with this little fire collective, and we were always like, whether it was spinning fire inside of water or going to like a waterfall or whatever, so like our lower half is kind of like submerged.
It's always.
But yeah, I suppose just like, I love just the idea of prop manipulation in different kinds of environments, you know, like fire spinning when it's snowing, or doing my daytime prop in like a shallow pool of water, you know. It definitely adds an extra feel to it, you know, the resistance in your feet and the way that your legs move. It's almost kind of gives you a little bit more control, a little bit more balance, especially when there's rocks to kind of like balance yourself on in water, and like you're not sure how they're going to move.
Yeah. Cool. Little pivots in the flows, and then there's the currents and how they kind of move you a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I just thought about this when I was a kid. I feel like I was always in the pool, and I always thought I was like a water bender, so I was always kind of like making like those back and forth waves with my arms, and like putting bubbles underwater, and like acting like I was controlling them and stuff like that.
you like splash your friend by going
yeah, exactly.
Spray all the water in front of you. Yeah. I'm a water bender like that too. Let's see what else we got. We got air. I guess that's like kind of dancing without a prop, or
yeah, I would say
bubbles maybe. You ever dance with bubbles, like some kind of bubble making thing?
I never danced with bubbles. I've spun fire with like two bubble machines being like blasted at me, which was pretty fun. Definitely a sensory experience.
Wow. I would that's probably the one on the bucket list here. I'm writing down from this conversation. I want to experience that someday.
It was a great time though. The guys that had the bubble guns, they were like on stilts and assless sparkly chops.
Wow, amazing.
It was so awesome. But yeah, then I guess earth.
Get some earth.
I like
dance.
I love rolling around in the dirt when I'm flowing, honestly, too. So I feel like prop manipulation is just super all-encompassing in that you can incorporate so many different kinds of elemental kind of incorporations, I guess. And with earth, you know, there's a lot of floor work that you can do. So, like, let's say if you're in the sand, you can, like, kick the sand up to kind of trace the fire that you're spinning, or, you know, roll around in the sand and cover yourself in it, you know.
And it's soft and It's another, like you were mentioning the dragon staff rolling on you. It's like another texture that's enjoyable, and I can relate to that. You know, getting into the earth. It's funny. I'm never thought about it so clearly, but I've always loved groundwork dancing. I'm fairly tall. I'm 5'13", so I like to get down on my knees sometime and be like at different levels when I'm in crowded dancing areas. And
yes, absolutely. I'm right there with you. I am also 5'13".
It's a fun height. It puts you in a nice realm, right?
But it also, kind of like you said, it forces you to kind of get creative with the way that you're kind of moving your body in crowds, just because, if you're aware of how tall you might be, it's not always the most fun for people behind you when you're attending a concert or a show. So I feel like the way that I've worked with that is just like dropping it down low as much as I can, Yeah.
And when the song peaks, how you can just pop up and everybody's like, whoa, he's all the way up there now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's so fun. I've loved dancing, and it's amazing. That's a big part of, my allure to doing my art and work at the festivals. I love how free people feel to dance. You could just be casually talking to somebody in the morning there, and next thing you know, you guys are all just breaking into a dance party. Dancing is one of the, like we were mentioning in conversations we've had before, that's funny, humanity, and that's what Wake the Farm Up's all about. We're about dancing together, getting together, shaking off our burdens, our worries, our anxieties, our fears, our angers, all the things, like shake them off and then just like feel our bodies and dance and like feel the music and interacting in that flow together. It's my favorite.
Me too, man. There's really nothing like it, and just the community of people that just dancing alone and prop manipulation, fire manipulation comes with is something I feel super blessed for, just because it's just a group of people that's always wanting to move, always wanting to do something with their bodies that's good for them, and really just have that kind of collective feeling of moving together and having a good time together.
I love that. So something I'm curious about, I guess, like where do you feel like it's going for you? Like, do you feel like you're gonna have way more places to perform next year than you can?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many places I want to go to and perform at. There's an endless, as you know, there's endless amounts of festivals in the U.S. So yeah, there's a lot.
JayJay, you've gotten into it where you feel like the community of arts in the world is supporting you, encouraging you to do this more. Do you feel like it could be a career thing, like something that you'll be like really focused on?
Definitely. I've definitely thought about that, and my current muggle job, I like to call it.
I love that.
I'm currently bartending and serving at a breakfast place, and that can only bring you so much joy. Some people love it. Power to them. I'm not, exactly trying to stay in this position.
Yeah, you gotta keep moving. Keep moving.
Yeah, but I definitely hope to try to. I don't know about main source of income in terms of like making a career out of it in that way, but I hope to make. I guess I do want to make a career out of it in some capacity, but right now I'm also kind of doing some community events, and I'm hosting those here in Denver. I have a little company called Ze.Fuss.
I wanted to ask you about Ze.Fuss. What's Ze.Fuss about Ze.Fuss?
We're a new collective here in Denver. We're we're consist of basically a bunch of producers, DJs, flow artists, painters, vendors, and basically what we do is we curate immersive pop-up events around the city, and we like to kind of stray away from those more like established venues and kind of do it in a place where you wouldn't really think is, you know, like right for an event that we're trying to throw. And our big things are,
I love
really,
just real quick, I love the subversity in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And it's definitely a lot of work trying to carve these places out into music venues, just, you know, day of, but at the end of the day, it's so much fun, and I just see how happy it makes people, and that's the kind of thing that, you know, makes me want to keep on continue to throw events. But yeah, at the core, we're basically a collective of just musicians and artists that really like to get together and kind of show off our art. And with this collective, we're trying to kind of change things up a little bit with kind of the algorithm of a bass show. We've kind of noticed that in a lot of bass venues in Denver, it's understandable and clear why this is the case, but we've noticed that the DJ, the speakers, the decks, and the projector screen are kind of the four aspects that are like held to the most praise. And there's just so much more that goes into the bass scene and to like making it what it is, and just the music scene in general, and just kind of like what makes it so magical. It's like, yeah, it's the music, but it's also all of the aspects. It's the flow artists, it's the vendors, it's the live painters, it's everyone working so hard to
it's
like, you know, create this experience. It's the farmers, exactly. it's so many people trying to you know, make this magic come to life and make the community of the arts in whatever city you may be in, whatever area that you may be in, you know, making sure that it's staying in fruition and it comes to fruition, and that it's just a celebrated thing and it doesn't get forgotten about. So
I like that. I like that a lot. Wake the Farm Up. You're encouraging, you're supporting people being seen, being heard, being recognized, being valued.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, specifically, we want to put a focus on queer artists as well, just because we know that a lot of the times in the scene, on top of just the DJ being highlighted, you know, if an artist is queer, you know, and they make it big, it's not really focused on that they're queer, and that's fine and understandable. We're focusing on the art, but you know, there's a lot of amazing queer creators out there, a part of an amazing community, two amazing communities that have a lot of intersections. So we kind of want to show some light on that as well. And kind of, for example, for our first event that we ever threw in Denver, we had a gala.
I love it. 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 All right, keep going. Tell me, sorry.
Yes. I love that you love it. Yeah, just was saying, for like our first event in Denver, we had a gala, and so in kind of trying to accomplish all of those things that I just said to you, we really wanted to fuse the kind of the queer community and the bass community here in Denver, just because, like I said, they both have so much crossover into each other's communities, but it doesn't really get recognized a lot. And so what we did is we had a drag queen host, we had a drag queen bartender, a drag queen ticketing person checking in, greeting everybody in there. During the show, we had breaks in music. So the first like 3 hours of music, it was 30-minute music sets. And then in between those 30 minutes, we would have some other aspects of the community being highlighted. And so like the first break in music, we had flow artists on their own separate stage, you know, where they were able to choreograph a piece to whatever music that they wanted, and we were basically just queuing up whatever song that they had requested to dance to. And, you know, we were kind of giving them their own separate moment, not as just like an accompaniment or, you know, an addition to the side of the DJ stage, but, you know, as their real like, just like, this is the centerpiece, this is what you should be looking at. We did the same thing for our vendors. We, instead of just kind of having the vendors off on the side, kind of like doing their own thing while the concert goes on, any vendors that had jewelry or clothing, and a lot of these were queer-owned businesses, we put them in a fashion show. So we had like a bunch of friends that were willing to help us with this fashion show that we put on, and we were able to put a lot of the things that the vendors were selling on these models, whether that be bucket hats, full outfits, you know, just tops, just pants, jewelry, whatever it may be.
So cool.
We were able to put our models in those, and we had our drag queen host kind of give the vendors a shout out as the models went down on their runway, and
Well, yeah.
it was an amazing, amazing event. And that's just the kind of thing that we're trying to do, and just, you know, still keep the focus on the music and, you know, the things that bring people together, but also we need to realize that it's not only the DJs that make the magic happen. You know, it's the countless of other bodies and heads that put the effort into making such an enjoyable event like Halloween, or like a music festival, or like any concert that you might go to.
Wake the farm up! Bam! Yeah. Yeah, we're all about that at Wake the Farm Up. We like to encourage and support, and like, wow, we're getting to encourage and support and encourage and supporter person. That's so encouraging and supportive. Whoa.
Super uber encouraging and supportive.
Yeah, overtime. Wow. So we kind of started into that off of talking about career zones. So it sounds to me like some of your other aspects that you're working in is the organization of some different events that have a higher purpose and meaning to you, which is totally passionate. I've been exploring the word poly-career. I know
Absolutely.
the word poly's been applied to a lot of things, and I've had a hard time using the word career for most of my life, and I think when I came across that word, it just like opened it back up for me. I'm just like, okay, I think that's the concept in which I work, because I got a mixture of things, and that's how I like to be.
Absolutely. I love that term, because I see myself falling into that term more and more as the kind of time goes on.
Yeah, I think what that does is it allows you to build up your different parts of yourself that you want to do more. You want to do more fire dancing, and you get encouraged in that, so you kind of lean into that way. But it's not enough, so you're still like nurturing these other things that you're doing, and next thing you know, one of those things becomes full of passion and takes you over so much, and allows you to perform your dance, and allows this, that, and the other thing, and it's like you can keep building these things up together.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like they're completely isolated or separate from one another. They're very like, one can draw inspiration from the other, and it's kind of like a constant back and forth. Like, cool, I just had a really cool gig at Halloween. I saw some really cool, or met some really cool people, saw some really cool art structures, like now I'm feeling super inspired, not only to get after more fire spinning, but to kind of host more events and do it in a different kind of way that not everybody may be doing right now, and just kind of being inspired from not just the things in the realm of event planning, but also kind of crossing over into the fire spinning, as well as other things that I'm doing, like bartending and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, bartending's a whole nother performance, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So what other kind of things are you I'm trying to think of some more questions here, or not questions so much, but places we could go and talk into. I love talking about nature. You mentioned spending a lot of time at Boulder Creek and finding some inspiration there. what are your thoughts and feels on your connection with nature?
Yeah, I mean, living in the city of Denver versus living in Boulder is definitely, it's harder for me to get out in nature and find myself out there. Just because Boulder, you know, anywhere you step outside, you see the Flatirons, you see the mountains towering over the city. And when you're in Denver, it's not as easy to see, especially if you're not in like a high-rise apartment building or a house with nothing to obstruct your view of the mountains.
Great.
But that being said, I still absolutely try to get outside. You know, I could only flow so much in my apartment, especially with my low ceilings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, getting outside and just going to a park a couple blocks down the street and just having the grass on my feet. It is an unbeatable feeling when you're just trying to, you know, not only connect with your props and your dancing, but also to just kind of like the larger collective consciousness of the human race. You know, you feel isolated, you feel kind of like you got a lot on your plate, and you need some nature to remind you of, you know, the interconnectedness of it all. Yeah, dancing with my bare feet on the ground and some grass is my way to do it.
Yeah, I love that. I know they say there's a lot to touching the bare earth with our hands, our feet, and some of the things that are even more brilliant. I know Evan Fraser on one of our more recent episodes from Dirtwire had mentioned that there's scientific evidence showing that when we dance around a fire together as a community and we make these vibrations and frequencies on the ground, that the mycelium in the soil picks that up and can pass it through the whole entire forest understory, under the underground, you know, just like it can ripple that out into like under buildings, everything. I mean, it's crazy.
I also saw that. Yeah, I loved that video.
So there was a video about it, or?
I saw a video version, yeah.
Okay, yeah, most of my stuff I get from connected and talking to people, and they tell me what's going on or something they saw. It's fascinating. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it could be even taken a step further and just, you know, when you're dancing in front of anybody, like, yeah, take that to the mycelium under our feet, but just like anybody, anywhere, anything, you know, like you exuding that joy and you kind of really just having fun with dancing and interpreting, you know, however you want to interpret. It's always going to be a joy for somebody else to watch, you know?
I love that, yeah. Bring joy to people. You bring lots of joy, JayJay.
Thank you.
I would love to, you know, I'm going to keep up with Ze.Fuss and, you know, support you guys any way that we can, you know, and that's definitely something that I want to encourage and support the Elf here. So check that out, people. You're going to love that. I know people getting to Denver. One question I had, I guess, have you ever danced at farmers markets?
No. But our last event, we did we hosted a Halloween little gathering and a family-owned farm, and they had a farmers market, and so we kind of did a nighttime farmers market, as well as kind of brought out some of our vendors from the collective, some DJs to play some music, and we kind of decked out their farmers market like pumpkin patch area so people could kind of pick their pumpkins, get their fresh produce and stuff like that. And yeah, I have never personally done it, but I organized one just not too long ago in October at a farmers market.
Nice. Yeah. I'm just curious because I've seen a lot of artists kind of get some original exposure from attending farmers markets, and I produced food from my homestead for 13 years and sold at farmers market. That was one of my poly-career things. And
nice. That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was definitely the community there. I think that farms can help save music and arts can help save farms, and all of those things keep going back and forth, and how they can help save and nurture and build each other and lift each other up. So I don't know, throwing it out there, being somebody that spent a lot of time at farmers markets, I think they would enjoy, you know, some sort of show or performance, and, you know, maybe you're doing prop manipulation with zucchinis or something, I don't know.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome.
It's like, yeah, speaking of that, like I don't know, I like dancing with different props, and, you know, I'll just like pick up things in the woods, and like there'll be like a cool stick in the woods, and I'll dance with it or something, you know. But what are some of the cool, funny, I don't know, in a funny side of things, what are some funny things you've danced with, like in a performance?
In a performance, I've never performed with like anything funny. It's usually just
so
my double staff or my dragon staff. But I will grab my broomstick now and again and treat that as a dragon staff.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like, do a little, like you're gonna fly off on it or something, kind of sit down on it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Ze.Fuss, all of the performers, you know, we became a super tight-knit family as soon as, like, right off the bat. And so that was super cool. And we went to all the shows together and everything. And at one point, one of the main stage shows, we all just found like a bunch of glow sticks on the ground. And so we all picked them up and started like making shapes and tutting with them. And wow, it was a great thing.
Well, I love that. It's been so awesome talking with you, but I think that you and me, we need to go and dance or something. Let's go dancing. Hey, everybody, what do you guys think? We should wrap this up, or should we go dancing? Oh, they want more. They want more JayJay. They want more JayJay.
Let's do it.
Well, welcome to the Pod Squad, JayJay. You always got a place on the Wake the Farm Up microphone. And, you know, whenever we're doing live shows anywhere we are, and, you know, if you ever have anything you want to share with us anytime, just, you know, look forward to, you know, keeping in touch. We're fans of JayJay, and we'll, you know, keep in touch with you. Let's go dancing. You got anything else you want to share with these wonderful people? They want more JayJay.
Just get out there, move your body. Feels good.
Yeah. Love it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Elements.
The future will come, and it is not your plans.